Hi, welcome back to DivineTimesTwo, where we love to share delicious recipes, hauls, and sometimes reviews on products we think you'll like and or find useful. Hope you are doing well, keeping yourself happy, busy, and healthy. In today's video, I am going to show you how to make a delicious crusty and tender hearty bread using the cold oven method. It makes a great crusty but soft bread that is great for making sandwiches or just with butter and jam, or enjoy it the way it is. Let's get started. I am using 2 cups all-purpose flour, 2 cups 100% whole wheat flour. To this I am going to add 1 teaspoon salt. This is pink Himalayan salt. I'm using a whisk to mix it. By mixing it, I am incorporating both flours and the salt. To the mixing bowl, I am going to add 1.5 cups of warm water. I am going to check the temperature because it needs to be from 105 degrees to 110. Let's see. All right. So it's way up there. So at this point, I am going to add the sugar and stir it in. That way the sugar dissolves and the water cools down. Yeast loves warm water to grow, so the ideal temperature for it is between 105 to 110 degrees. This is called activating the yeast. I have experimented with water cooler than this and the yeast still grows, but it takes longer. Also, if you use room temperature water, just make sure when your dough is rising, it is rising in a warm place. This way your yeast will activate and the dough will rise. 107 degrees, it's time for the yeast. This is 1 tablespoon yeast. Active dry yeast. Stir, and I am going to let this bloom. I always do that, just in case if the yeast is not good and it doesn't activate in the warm water. I am going to begin adding flour. Remember, this flour is already mixed. 2 cups all-purpose flour, 2 cups 100% whole wheat flour, and 1 teaspoon salt. Now we're going to start mixing. All right, I already know that the dough needs a little more water. That's fine. Add a little more water, a little bit at a time. I like to add about 2 tablespoons of water, then mix. Continue adding water until the dough comes together and the dough is not sticking to the sides of the mixing bowl. Humidity and temperature may play a part in the dough needing more water. Once the dough is not sticking to the sides of the bowl, then mix the dough for 5 minutes. I like to use a timer for this because if not, I'll forget how long the dough has been mixing for. This dough is not sticky, so what I'm going to do now is let it rest for a couple of minutes while I grease up a bowl. To this bowl, I am going to add a little olive oil. I am going to cover the dough in this olive oil so it won't stick to the bowl. I let the dough rest for 2 minutes. Now I am going to knead it again for 3 minutes. Three minutes have passed. I am going to transfer the dough to the greased bowl. I am going to place a damp, warm towel on top of the dough, and I'm going to put it in a warm place so that it can rise for 2 hours. This is how I am letting it rise on the stove with the microwave light on. The dough has risen for 2 hours. Now I am going to begin shaping the dough. Feels very nice, smooth, elastic. Okay. I am going to continue to work the dough until I have a loaf-shaped dough. Now that I shaped the dough, I am going to transfer the dough onto a cookie sheet, and I've placed a sheet of parchment paper. Now I am going to let it rest for 5 minutes. To this roasting pan, I am going to add boiling water. And this is going to go on the last rack of the oven. I'm slowly adding the boiling water to the roasting pan. And the oven is a cold oven. I have not preheated it, so I'm going to now put this in the oven. On the bottom rack. And now I am going to make a slash at the top of the dough. And I am going to brush cold water on the dough. This cold water will make a crispy crust. Now I'm going to place this in the oven, and after that I am going to turn on the oven to 400 degrees, and I'm going to bake it for 45 minutes. Remember, this is going into a cold oven with a roasting pan with boiling water. Bake until the crust is golden brown and sounds hollow to the touch. This bread is done. Okay, now I'm going to transfer it to a cooling rack. This bread needs to be cooled completely before it is cut into, because if you cut into it now, the dough will become like gummy, and you don't want that. Yes, it's going to be very hard to wait. It tastes like a bread you would buy at the bakery. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you know what? If I can make it, you can make it. Yours is going to come out fabulous. I hope you give this recipe a try. It's absolutely amazing. This bread is, wow, delicious. I am so glad I was able to share this crusty and tender hearty bread recipe with you. You are going to love it. Thank you for watching and subscribing. And please don't forget to share this video. Remember to stay kind, positive, and divine. See you next time. Love ya. Bye.